So guys, this guy's, you know what? You know who? They have to take the information down. They have to know about you, whether you had, what kind of medication you bought, how much, anything. They have to be in there to see how much money you spent. What else? Guys, you name it, it's brutal. They have to know everything. See those two in the car, they were looking at me as they're parking. They want to see if that's me. They're supposed to stalk. Everything they want to know, everything. See how should they pull the handbrake? So they teach them to do that, back and forth. Look, that guy's walking the other way. Saw me walk over there, he walked that way. Now he's gonna go into that store to pretend to get a haircut. No, there's no one in there. He opens, he looks, he leaves. Another one here, look at this street theater. So when they have to keep doing this with their arms, that's what you don't want to see. Look. Big truck over there, look. Everywhere now. As soon as I move, it's all around me. It's like a circle of death. It's a machine of noise and movement that circles around you everywhere you go. Everywhere. Now, I filmed for you just now. There's 35 minutes on this video, so we'll see. I couldn't, what happened is I had a old memory card, not old, a full one in there. And I was filming the birdseed, the plane that passed by like 3 times. I'm not sure whether we got all the footage, because when I got close to the pharmacy, I looked at my phone and it wasn't recording. It stopped a couple minutes before that. So I hope I got the most important, most interesting parts in there. I hope so. You know, so we're gonna try to get that bus. So you're gonna start walking fast and running, most of them. You could see it through their actions. They just look all weird, suspicious, as if they're there doing something. A lot of nose scratching, because they have to create movement, right? Oh, we couldn't get this guy. We have to wait for the next one. So they have to create movement. Let's go to the address. So look, they stop here and talk. Look at them moving, the girls, look. Those two at the back, look. So they have to move. That's the idea, right? Look at the running, What was the point of that? Where's she running to? The bus, there are no buses over there. So look what happened to this intersection. Look. This is all theater. You see how they stopped over there? Look, they're waiting. They're to move theater. So I stay away from them. I don't want to go close by there. Now, one of the girls sat and faced the other way, the one that's sitting down. Do you know why? And puts her hand on her head. They do that because she doesn't want to be seen on camera. I get a lot of that around. A lot of pretty women that look classy, young. They have everything in order to get out there and live an amazing life. For some reason, I find them on my trail sometimes like this, and they sort of regret it. They have a hand on her head like, oh my God, I don't want to be seen on camera, you know? And you know what? I love it when I see things like that, because it shows me that there's still a bit of humanity out there. Some people, whether they're women or men, they still have dignity and self-respect. Maybe she did it today for I don't know what reasons. Maybe money, maybe she had a charge. They tell them, they do that a lot too, guys. Those intelligence agencies. You have a charge, we'll drop it. Just do this for us and we'll drop your criminal charge. We'll give you free coupons to go shop at this store. And we'll always have a note with us here. Anytime in the future you get in trouble, you know, we'll help you. So they give them all these hopes and dreams. And most of them, they do help them because it's within their reach. Sometimes if the person's really hard to recruit, they do, excuse my language, bullshit them. If they have to, they do. These guys are brutal. You got to remember, you're dealing with an entity that has a terrorist bully that has no self-respect, no respect for anything, no pride. He's willing to go as low as possible, cheat, scam, do whatever it takes to get that goal. In a good way, bad way, mean way, slimy way, you name it. So the people that usually do this kind of thing, that work with this beast, because of the nature of this beast. Look at the running. Look. Why is she running? She didn't have to run. Look at the bus. So they time it perfectly. She would almost force herself to run. No, she's stopping and moving. No, they have to do it. Look at the pointing with their hands. This damn thing. Let's see if I have any change. So guys, if you noticed with there are a lot of you know they're trying to do their best to grab your attention, women, that they get to do this, grab your attention, so you go sit where they sit or whatever reasons, and I've been on both sides of the scale. I'm not that kind of person usually. I don't like to follow. I take my place and whoever wants to come to me, not all the time, but I'm a human being, but still most of the time, that's my code, not because it's cockiness or whatever it is. No, it's because I like to, it's the kind of person I am. I don't like to intrude and, I'm very sensitive towards these things. Anyways, so if you do go there, then you get mistreated, you get ignored, or whatever their agenda is for that day. Another school bus, guys, who pass by so fast. You know what I mean? Or sometimes they talk to you to hype you up, make you feel good, and then you get to the next place where you're heading, you get mistreated. You're dealing with an entity that uses psychological warfare to make you feel dismantled every day in order to keep you there. And an entity with a lot of money, a lot of backup that can afford to do this on a big scale. Because nobody can do this, guys, what these guys are doing. It involves a lot of manpower and a lot of investing a lot of money into it. They are able to do it because it's the government. They have enough money. And this is the only way it works. It has to be little ticks and pieces every place you go. If it's not ticks and pieces, that's why it works. It's hidden in plain sight. And every place you get to, you get a couple of needles, which overall, if it's only a little bit here, a little bit there, once a week, twice a week, then it doesn't matter. You can recover from that. The problem with this, look, she's talking to her kid, look. She's having a conversation for an hour with the little baby. Now, that's on normal circumstances. It could happen, it's normal, but you get the idea here. Everyone has to do something, and because I'm recording, they've toned down a lot on their conversation and voice, but they still have to be annoying. I still have to hear a little bit of conversation voice in the background. I guarantee that question was life and death question. So this is, clearing throat, coughing, a lot of that. It's fake most of the time. Shut him up, though. So, what was I saying? Yeah, but when you get all these needles everywhere you go, you break down, guys. And over a couple of months, getting this treatment everywhere you go, plus the war that they wage on you when it comes to stopping you from getting a job, and but they cut off your hope basically first in life. You can't advance financially, socially, and everything, and they do this to you on the street. And on top of it, they send your emails. There's always tons of junk mail. They send you videos for certain things enticing you. Let's say you're looking for a loan. So you get an email from this company, you go apply, you get excited, everything. In the end, you don't get approved, even though you do have all the prerequisites or all the necessary elements to be approved, because they control that. They can get the company not to approve you, believe it or not. They have their ways to pay them off because they didn't benefit from you. They'll make them benefit more. They're brutal. They attack every aspect of your life. It's basically eliminating somebody from society and life completely without physically eliminating them. It's amazing. It's the most devious, most disgusting thing that could ever be done to a human being. It's severe torture that's not visible. And it's hard to hold them accountable for it, because you have to prove. And not just that, I have a lot of proof. More than that, what you have to do is have enough money and power and backup. And look at the rustling sound of moving newspaper. Now she gets up. So she's been moving around a lot. As soon as I turned my phone to her, she got up. You know why? The zipper of her bag, the shoe. I heard that. All these little sounds and everything. You know, that's their jobs. Look at over there, whether it's using your phone or picking things from your pocket, putting things back in your pocket, or if you have a coffee, keep drinking it. The bus driver leaves the signal on when he doesn't have to. Now I have to keep the signal on right now. You gotta pay attention to all the, look at that shaking, that leg shaking. So it's a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit there, a little bit there, and surrounding you all day long. Believe me, you get terrorized by the end of the day. So there's small actions being done on you by different people here and there, here and there, here and there, in every setting that you go to, because they track you, they're on your tail, and every place you get to, they precede you. They're already there with the setting set up. Now look at the bus, the way he drives. Look. Okay, I'm gonna tell you something now. Now you think that this is the actual road. Yes, the roads are bad. But most bus drivers in this area, because they know what, they don't drive in this lane, they move on to the next one. Because this is intolerable. Alright? So if they can't purposely drive bad, they have to figure out a way to make you feel uncomfortable. If they can't do it with the people, the passengers inside, they have to do it with something else. So whatever it takes. Whatever it takes. They have to. Their job is to pretty much drive you nuts. Sometimes when I'm inside the bus and there's nothing going on inside, you will see the cars on the outside trying to stay within the same level of the bus, so they're always in your view, and slowing down a bit, then speeding a little bit. So you still see movement. Guys, they are brutal. Now look at the colors, the fuchsia bag. What is it supposed to do? And she takes a full stop there in front of me. Now, bright colors, not only they use them for you to notice, they're stressors. Bright colors, usually. If you have your furniture at home, let's say it's all white, and you have a table like that fuchsia color, stuck in the middle. Believe it or not, if you live there, you spend 3 months in that apartment, and then you spend another 3 months without that fuchsia color table, you will notice a huge difference in your mood. These are stressors, guys. No, it's a science of colors. Not really, it's not a science. It's just some information that you need to know. Once you know it, there's not much to it. This is why I laugh when they call them intelligence. They call them intelligence agencies. There's nothing intelligent about them. And most of the people that work for them are a bunch of dumbasses. Incompetent, lazy, can't get a real job, so they get paid a lot of money there, and they promise them the world with backup. Especially people that sell drugs or do drugs. These guys love them. Why? They give them a carte blanche to do anything they want. They'll never be arrested. I'm telling you from experience. I know my brother is one of these people. My brother. And the kind of bus that will pick me up will be the kind of bus that will feel the most from these bumps. They won't pick one that doesn't, they have a lot of buses. They have a bunch of new ones too. I know this sounds really weird and crazy, guys, but you gotta remember something about intelligence agencies. They're not intelligent. They're just weird, desperate, and scumbags, and they have a certain science to the press that they can apply, and it wasn't their invention. They learned it from the East German, Stasi, Germany, they call it Zersetzung, something like that. It's called decomposition of the soul. Now, decomposition of the soul is basically, they do you feel like you're getting decomposed. Look at them all waiting. This one stopped here so she can block my way when I come out. Guys, that's what they do. It's a setting. They set themselves up. So you're always looking at somebody in front of you. You have to move away from them, and then you end up bumping into another one. This is to always pretty much have your surrounding really annoying, There's always people around you. So that's why I call it a science to depress. Because what it does to you, this thing, if you've lived, you get depressed. Now, this first hardcore like this, it happened to me back in 97. At the end of 96, beginning of 97, it took me about 6 months to a year. And then all of a sudden, for no reason, nothing bad happened in my life, I started to get depressed. The problem with getting depressed, guys, it doesn't matter how intelligent, look. The create noise, look. The problem with depression, guys, there's always a car waiting when I have to cross. Look at the lineup. Look at the amount of cars. It's madness. Who sees this many cars on the street at this? Look, in this area, there's another school bus, 2 in a row. They're sensitizing me to them. So, guys, science to depress basically is Yeah, I was telling you, after about a year, 6 months to a year, I started to get really depressed. Why? A guy like me, who I'm not Superman, but also I'm a little bit capable, you know. I was always known all my life to be not stupid, intelligent, and hardworking, and strong, and all these, whatever, all these things. Why would I get depressed out of nowhere? Now, the problem with the, yeah, I remember now what I was getting to. The problem with depression, guys, okay? I'm going to tell you the biggest problem. Once you start to get depressed, your brain shuts off. So it doesn't matter how smart or how strong you are. You stop figuring things out. You stop thinking automatically, unwillingly. You know, it's not that you want to stop thinking. You try hard to figure out what you just got hit with, but you can't function. So you need someone to help you and pick you up to get you back to a place where you can function, and then you can take it from there. Unfortunately, I had to do that on my own, and it took me about 15, 20 years almost. But at least I did it, you know? And I'll tell you the process now. I've said this a lot in my other videos, but sometimes I feel the need to say it. I don't know why. Maybe it fits the video criteria. She comes in front of me, then she grabs her glasses, lifts them up. Her hand is still up. Now she puts it down, she walks away. She's got a bag stuck on my face on her back. This guy's hand's in his pocket. It's weird. Who walks like that? Doesn't matter. Look, it's not about the way they're walking or anything. They're always moving, and their attitude towards you, and they're negative. They're not smiling. They're not walking normally because they have an intention to stress you out. They're bringing negative energy. Anyways, what was I saying? Why would I get depressed? Anyway, something with depression, yeah. You know, that's what it does to you. Now, fast forward till 2016, almost 20 years. I came back to Toronto from spending 2 years in Cuba, free of drugs for the first time in my life. For that long, 2 years. Why? Now, how did I get on drugs? Back in the days when I got depressed, like I said, you can't function anymore. My own so-called brother got me introduced to Percocets. They tried to introduce me to a lot of things. Even though I was depressed, I would always say no. Something about these pills, he convinced me. He said they're legal, a doctor can prescribe them, and how bad could they be? You know, they give them to people with back pain. Now, they tried to offer me crack, weed, everything. I never smoked, never touched anything. Back in those days, I was fresh, never touched any drug. I was almost 21, 22. Anyways, guys. My friend, my so-called friend, he was also working for them, was sitting beside me. He said, you know what, Sam, I'll try it, and then you can, I go, okay. So he tried it, he goes, it's amazing. I took the pill, and I even took half a pill. And I just felt amazing. Like, look at this girl that's sitting in there, how she's moving and flashing. She's moving first, she has to move, and then she flashes. Now she looks at me from the mirror. Because it's showing sex, you know, skin. No, I don't want to sound schizophrenic, but come on. I mean, women walk on the street with whatever. I'm not against that or anything, but you got to look at the circumstances here. What their intention is. This is why I notice it and I mention it. You know, don't misunderstand me. Anyways, so what I did, another school bus. Maybe it's time for school, but you still don't see that many guys in a row, okay? Look at the trail up there, the plane, the chemtrail. Look how low it is. And these guys, all of a sudden, they're doing it. Anyways, well, let's go back to what's important here, the story. Yeah, so I took it, and the rest was history. It made me feel, because opiates, what they do is they raise your serotonin level. And my serotonin, when you're depressed, is on 0. So opiates made me feel good and get out of that, you know, depression. But you're going to remember you're on drugs now, so you're not going to function right, and you're not going to figure anything out. It's heroin, pretty much, in small doses. A small form of heroin. So, look at this guy. He's back and forth to this area, so I can keep hearing the noise. What are the chances, you know? We passed by so many stops, they weren't cutting grass over there. Only here at the stop I get off at. I told you, because they know where you're going. They track you, your internet, your habits, what you do on Thursday, what you do on Friday. So I got into these things. Now fast forward to 2016, after I've done many different kind of drugs and whatever. Even though I did drugs throughout all these years, I've opened up businesses, learned new languages. You know, I'm fluent in Spanish, French, Arabic, whatever, English. And I've traveled to about 25 countries. I've lived in about 5. So, Believe it or not, throughout all these years, I've never had contact with one real person. They cut me off from the world. I know this sounds crazy, guys. I don't know how they did it, but they did. Look to where he comes. Look. Look at the nerve. Look at the nerve on these people. You see, you believe me now? Why didn't he go over there? Why here where I was standing at the time I was... Anyways, ignore him. Okay, guys, where was I? So, fast forward to 2016. I actually you have to get your mind out of them. Even though I tried to quit before, my mind was always on them. I still needed them. Once I made a huge decision in 2014 that I want to get rid of them, I went to Cuba, to a small town, because there are no drugs over there. It's impossible to get them, and I wanted to surround myself with small town people, get away from technology, internet phones, and I actually wanted to move there. Now look how, when I pointed the phone at him, what did he do? Look how much movement he created. That's what they tell them to do around you, because it's stressful, right? It stresses you. There's stressors movements. So, fuchsia jacket, all those bright colors. Now it could be normal usually on certain circumstances, but you know, look at this one. She's looking back at the bus. She doesn't need it. Why? She wants to show me something about the way she looks, her hair, her face, because it's weird. Something about her. It's just not the norm, you know? I noticed, that's it. She won't look back anymore. Her job is to make me notice and look at her face, at that weirdness, whatever it is, her bag, her face, her butt, the way she acts, her glasses. It could be anything. He's working his way to me, so he keeps moving in front of me. Look at the charade. It's theater. Anyways, it's not just theater. They're actually cutting the grass, but theater is more important. It's their priority. Then if they can cut the grass properly with the theater, they do it. So, I quit them. I came back here to Toronto to eventually, I gave up on everything. Nothing worked out for me. And after I made $1 million in my life and I spent it, and everything, I would start good, then it would cut me off. Now I know it was all them after me all these years, and it wasn't really me. So we'll continue 1 second. Look at the little kid pointing. They prostitute their own kids. I mean, come on, man. You know, guys. It's the sad part is you're taking this little innocent kid and you're turning him into this satanic cult. Now listen to the conversations, and I bet you they're the most sophisticated conversations on the face of this planet. It's brutal. Anyways, they take these little innocent kids, usually the elderly and kids, because they get away with it. What are you gonna do? Usually don't want to stare at them or hit them or whatever. Anyways, because they're the least, what's the word? It doesn't matter, it's not important. Let's go back to our main subject. Anyways, I come back here and I say, you know what, that's it. I'm going to start, family's everything in life, living with family and everything. What do I find out? First, as soon as I get back here, my own brother and his crew in the building, most of the neighbors, well, so-called neighbors, now I know that they're not neighbors, they're operatives like him. They waged this huge crack war on me. Try to get me addicted to that. It didn't work. I ended up kicking him out of the house and pretty much doing something I didn't want to do. And they kept on waging this war on me, bumping into me in public places, people smoking that stuff, coming knocking on my door at 4 in the morning. Guys, you name it. They've tried every tactic in the book. It didn't work. What that caused is, it caused me to wake up. Waking up meaning, one day, I look back on after I realized my own brother is just a demon. And I pretty much had this vision of all my past life and realized that I was told the same stories almost, and with the same intentions, with the same tactics, from many different people that didn't know each other and lived in 10 different countries. How is that possible? So I realized that something was fake in my life, and there was always someone around me passing these tactics to these people that they applied on me. I realized there was something on me all my life, someone on my tail. I backtracked all the way to my childhood, and I realized it's been going on ever since. He listened to the abrupt sounds and noises, and the other operatives look. to make it look like, to make you look that way. So they aid the first perpetrator for his job to be done right. The second perpetrator backs him up and looks, so you look. But anyways, usually it's other stuff too. It's not only these things. But anyways, I realized that, and then I backtracked all the way. I was about 3 years old, and I realized it's been going on all my life, this thing, to a lesser scale, smaller level, less intense, since my childhood. What these guys do to you when an agency sees that, when they check us out in kindergarten, guys, they test everybody. If they see something really, I don't know, I'm not going to use the word special, but that's threatening to them, I guess, in the future, they look at your genealogy, the way you are. They apply certain tactics on you. First is to activate your sexuality early. I've seen every woman in my family, whether she was 20 or 80, stripped naked in front of me throughout my childhood, guys. Not intention, like bring me in the room, take them off, no. Pretending they're inside the room, changing their clothes, and knowing that I would walk in at that certain time, and they're like, oh my God, they shut the door. Things like that. I've had one of my neighbors that I would go up and see my friend to play toy soldiers with, and she would call me into the kitchen. Her sister's always in the bathroom. The old Arabic bathrooms are the ones where you squat. There's no toilet. So, and I could see everything, you know what I mean? And she would open the door and sit there, squat there, and have a 5-minute conversation with me. I was about 6 years old. All these tactics were pulled on me, you know what I mean? And for that particular reason. Now, that same place I used to go to, my friend's sister was about 14. I went up to his place one day to play with him, and mysteriously there was nobody home. She was there alone. She invites me into the bedroom, stripped naked. I had sex with her. I was about 7, something like that. So the psychological damage that could do to a kid and activate your sexuality early is, the idea is to break you, to keep you thinking about things that are not applicable at that time, and you can't get them. It's not good to get them. You know what I mean? Why? What does that do to you? When you're lured into something that's addictive or that's physical and you get deprived from it, it makes you want it more and more, to think about nothing but that. Now, for some reason, I was strong enough for that not to work on me. But that was the tactic, that was the intention. That's what these guys do, believe it or not. And that's government guys, by the way. So, then, besides that, that's one tactic. Another tactic, a lot of bad things were done to me in a tricky way when I was young. I traced back. Things were stolen that were bought to me, were stolen immediately throughout my life. Beaten up in school by this so-called teacher that watches kids in the playground. Look at the way they sit and look at you. Look what they put in front of you, the bags. So it's clogging up your environment pretty much, making it tight everywhere, putting tight spots so you feel annoyed and irritated. The stress you, bother you. See how she's playing with that fuchsia colored jacket? Just stick it in my face so I can always see that color. Scratching his head constantly. So this is a setting to break you, you know, a setting to really drive you nuts over and over again. Everywhere you go is like this. Now we're gonna get to a place, I hope I have enough footage, yeah I do, to show you as soon as I walk in there what's gonna happen. Loud, people walking back and forth, pacing unnecessarily. So anyways, they apply other tactics, beating me up, bullying me, scaring me. When I was here in Toronto, I was about 16 years old. Look, hands still there. Look at that uncomfortable position. Just pretty much they want to just take me and jump on me soon. And they make it look like it's natural because they're just stuck there too. They're innocent of any crime, right? See, they don't say, excuse me, let's just bump into you. Soon, if they could sit on my head, they would. So that's the tactic, right? That's how it works. Look at that. Look at the charade. It's torture. It's theater. And the way the bus driver drives too, he's got a lot to do with it. Intentionally, he wants to make your ride as uncomfortable as possible, with noise, with everything. So we got off at the other stop today just to change. That's the place I'm going to over there. It's called the Hub 105. Now watch how busy it's gonna get. As soon as I got to see these people waiting outside. Look. So, I don't know what's worse. That one's blocked and this one's blocked. Excuse me. See, they move slowly. They stand in your way. Those are the perpetrators. That's what they do. So, You gotta be slick about it. Now I come here, another car comes. Look, he's looking at me too. So that's what they do, guys. They want to try to pretty much really drive you crazy. And now I get here, there's always cars moving back, and always a girl coming, she's playing with her hair. She's got a red Stasi thing tied down. You know, what did I tell you about the body types? So, big trucks. I'm gonna try to get into that place as fast as possible so you can see how busy it's gonna be. Anyways, I woke up and realized everything, backtracked. I realized that these are not my parents. I must have been an orphan picked up and adopted by this evil Freemasonic family that abused me all my life. My own mother stabbed me in my arm when I was 10. She's been, for the last 22 years, I don't know if I told you this before, she pretended she's schizophrenic, making noises at home the whole time, shutting and opening doors and windows. They created this noise campaign for me at home to be ongoing the whole time, so I can't focus, I can't think. That depresses you. That's why I call it a science to depress. Too much noise and too much... Do I what?
Do you look for any drinks?
No, I'm actually getting off it soon too.
Are you? I know.
What happened? How come you don't go there anymore?
I fucking went to restart my OD on the fucking weekend.
This weekend?
Yeah, I fucking did on fire now. I fucking had to rush to the hospital.
And now?
And then come back. It's at the restart. Fucking I never do fentanyl. It's like I injected it for the first time.
Oh, don't do that shit, man. No.
Yeah. Yeah. Alright. Actually, I fucking should be
Around here. What's up, man? Thanks, man. That's what happens when you're broke. Yeah. I'll be good, though. That's it. This is the last month I go through this house.
No, we
man.
just picked up our shit.
That's exactly what we're here for. Yeah.
Alright, okay. I'll send my... Okay. When here?
No, if you want.
I gotta go to the house first and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll stop by after that.
All right. So, guys, look, as soon as I get here, what happens? Go on, go ahead.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Look, the lady that was at the bus beside me, she looked at me, made sure I was here. Look where she stopped and she's talking now, having a conversation. To make me wait as I'm second, not first. Hello?